Hi everybody, you join us just as we're having a little chuckle in the background because we're pressing all the wrong buttons to get started. So welcome everybody, it's Michael and Jenny here. It must be Tuesday night at 7 o'clock in that case then, because you join us again for the Lincoln Property and Mortgage Show. Got a great show coming up tonight, two big topics, which are mainly as a response from a lot of the questions that we're getting asked. I'm going to be covering, and particularly for you, Molly, if you're watching tonight, I sent you a message earlier to let you know I'm going to be covering over how to conduct viewings and what to look out for there. Bit of a recap on some of the topics we covered a few weeks ago. So we're going to cover that in my section, and then Jenny.
So I'm going to be talking to you guys about the £5,000 deposit mortgages that have just been released. One lender's offering this at the moment, and my inbox has gone absolutely mental. But there's a few key things that keep knocking people out. So look, I'm going to explain it. Hopefully you meet the criteria and we can get you on the property ladder.
Spot on. So stay tuned and let's roll with the opening credits and then we'll get stuck in.
Perfect.
Okay, so two great subjects. So if you're watching tonight's show, as always, get involved. Before you do anything else, go and hit the like button for us now. Just so, again, that just spreads it out for us. If there's any comments, questions, feedback, anything else we can cover over for you, again, the little poster comment box down right hand side, pop your details in there, put your name in, as we always say, just so we know who we're addressing and we can follow up for you. And again, if you haven't already followed us, which I think most of you have now, on our social media, please head over to our Facebook pages, where we both put lots and lots of content, lots and lots of tips, lots of advice. Jenny, one of your videos that I saw this week, thousands and thousands of views. So you are really hitting the nail in regard to what people are wanting to hear about things at the moment. So that's another reason why we are covering, for me, I'm covering a bit of old ground. And as I mentioned Molly at the beginning, but I've actually had 3 people in the last week asking for advice on how to do viewings. Now, it's something we covered a few weeks ago. And I've gone through listening to hours and hours of us rambling on, Jenny, trying to find the little section which talked about viewings. But what we'll start doing is in where we repost this and we've put the obviously the subject, we wanted to make sure that this one was really clear about the viewings, because again, we're getting asked about it a lot at the moment where the market's busier. And so Jen is going to be talking about these 5,000 deposits, mortgages and things, which again, if you've been watching the media and you're keeping an eye on what's happening in the mortgage market, this is big news. Like you say, it's going to get those phone lines and the emails red hot. So
Yes.
Conversationally, let's talk about viewings. So a couple of things I'm just going to, again, cover. There's no script to this. There's no agenda with it. I'm just going to talk, shoot it off and let you know what my thoughts are. And the first thing I'm going to say is, when you're looking at doing viewings on your own property, the first thing is your agents don't really tend to give you any advice. They'll just chuck you in at the deep end. Most agents, as we've discussed before, don't do viewings on their properties. They leave it down to the homeowners. That's a big thing of that I just don't agree with. Or they'll often employ somebody to come and do the viewings for you that you've never met. They've never met you. They don't know the property. They don't know the work you've done on it. They don't know anything about you, your circumstances, your needs, what outcome you're trying to achieve. They'll open the door, clear the post off, show somebody around, turn the lights off, close the door behind it. If you need any more information, contact the office. That's not really helpful. That's not how you sell properties. That is just order taking and opening the door again. Okay, so that's my first biggest bugbear. When you're talking to an agent, who's doing the viewings? Do we expect me to do it? I'm paying you as an estate agent. I need help. Okay. Other thing though, when it comes down to a little bit more personal, is if you are putting a property on the market and you'll then start undertaking viewings on other homes, try and view that in regard to how you would want to see that property, i.e. if you walk up to the front door and the front gate's hanging off and there's flaky paint everywhere and you've got dead daffodils by your front door and your letterbox is like rusty and your front doorbell doesn't work, those first impressions, that curb appeal is already going to give you a bad impression and sometimes the wrong impression of the property. So what I'd advise you do is objectionably step outside your front door, walk past it and have a look at all those irritating little jobs that you've been putting off, get round to doing those and look from your curb. So we talked about, again, is your letterbox straight? Is your front paintwork done on your doorway? Again, I had one of my vendors message me only today to say, Matt, I've repainted up the front door. It looks great. Can you get a new photo done? So those little touches can make a difference. So just look at it from the curb appeal. If you've got hedging that needs cutting back, squaring off, your plants putting in a little bit of colour in a tub at the front makes a big difference. A welcome mat by the front door, it just gives a good first impression. So have a look at that objection from your own property first of all. Okay, it also helps.
And I think with that, Mike, as well. Oh, sorry, Mike. What I was just going to say with that, it doesn't have to be expensive, does it? It might be a little bit of time consuming and tidying up, but we're not talking about spending thousands of pounds and getting your drive repaved or anything like that. It is just those tidy up jobs that we're talking about.
It is absolutely, like you say, it's a bit of time and effort. It's all the sort of jobs that I did it in our back garden only last weekend. Actually, you're coming into a little bit of a nicer, brighter weekend. A couple of hours back in the back garden, just tidying things up again, and it makes a massive difference visually. And again, you feel good because you know that it looks nice. So that's the sort of thing. Like you said, tin of paint every now and then, or a bit of elbow grease, and it can make a massive difference. Okay. So that's the first thing I do is not only look around the outside of your property, but then go in and walk around the property yourself and view it from a buyer's point of view. So all the little things, again, that you might need putting away to depersonalize. I always say there's a fine balance between making your home feel homely and having it full of all of your artifacts, memorabilia, stuff from the children from 40 years ago that's still out. It's just getting the balance, as I say, that people will feel at ease when they're coming around the property. Okay, so homely but depersonalize. Okay, I've also talked, and this is something, Jenny, that you really jumped on and thought, actually, this is 2 good ideas. The first thing is background music. It's a massive difference. Just the sense of when you walk into somewhere and there's a nice bit of music on, and it just sets the tone and the feel. And again, if you're a modern house, put a bit of modern music on. If it's a Sunday morning, put some chill out tunes on. If if it's an older property, put a bit of classical music on. I went to a beautiful property out near Boston a couple of weeks ago, and it's all done in reclaimed stone, very, very modern. But you walk in and there's just some really nice, beautiful sort of classical music. We sat and had a coffee and talked about the market and the marketing in regard to their property. And it just set a really nice tone in keeping with the character of the property. Little things like that, as I say, music can make a big difference. The second thing is the smell, because buying a house is it's a sensory thing. What you see and what you hear, and what you smell when you walk in. And if you walk in and it smells of wet dog or cats or house rabbits or whatever, or kids, let's be fair, or kids, just again neutralize that. There's plenty of, again, you can either use candles if you like, or plugins, or however you feel about scents and bits and pieces. But there are ways now you can freshen your property up and just make it feel nice and homey and fresh, as you say. It's that 5-second sell which I talk about. When you walk through the front door, you'll know whether this has got the right feel and atmosphere before they've even looked around the property. Okay, and agents love this sort of thing, and that's why I say an agent should be doing the viewings on your properties as well. So that's a biggie. Depersonalize, tidy away all the bits and pieces that you don't need on. And then a little bit, if it, we do need a little bit of staging, to be fair. So if it helps by going out and getting some soft furnishings, like some throws to put over your sofa, some cushions to put out, to plump them up. If you've got a bed that would benefit by just having, a little, the throws and things that you can get over, just soft furnishings make a difference. Mood lighting. So again, if you've got bedside lamps, don't put the main light on always in rooms. They tend to make them look a little bit yellow, if I'm honest with you. So I would tend to say, if you've got bedside lamps, those sorts of things, put those on, just again to create that sort of nice feel as you're going around the property. So that's another one. And I think the other thing then, in regard to actually practically do with the viewing, if you're having to do it. So there's 2 things here. The first thing is to make the viewer feel at ease and welcome in the property. So introduce yourself, explain how you would like the viewing to be done. So if I was a homeowner, hi, it's Mike here, Jenny. Really pleased. Thanks ever so much for coming to have a look round. Look, it's my home, but I want you to feel at ease looking round. So look, have a look down on the ground floor accommodation. We've got a lounge, dining room, kitchen, etc., etc. Then feel free to go up and have a look at the upstairs. And then what we'll do is we'll meet back here in the lounge, and then I'll take you on the outside, and then we'll come back in again, and I'll go through any questions that you've got. Straight away, the viewer now goes, oh, okay, right, we're going to have a quick look round downstairs. Then we're going to go upstairs on our own. Then we're going to be back here, going to have a look in the garden, and then we're going to go through some questions. You've now got an agenda. So everybody just starts to relax and knows what's happening, as opposed to, oh, what's everybody? Well, where do you want to go first? Or what's over there? Or I don't know. It just creates, as I say, a bit of a process of how you want the viewer to do. There's nothing worse than an estate agent or a home seller looking over a viewer's shoulder, pointing out the blooming obvious. Okay? Then
welcome to the lounge.
The lounge, and here's the fire. Oh, here's the doors. The back. Really, it's that bit of, if they walk in and they are on their own, for security, you've got to keep an eye out. Let's be fair, but nowadays, you've got a good sense the agent's done a good job by getting the right person around. They will feel more at ease walking into a room, and they will discuss the room. So what you want to be listening for is conversations of, yeah, fantastic, we could put the sofa there, dressing unit can go over there, and then we've got that cabinet can go over there, and they're now visualizing themselves in the property and living there, and that's what you want to be hearing. Okay. You'll also pick up on things that if they say, oh, that bedroom is a little bit small, or we'd need to modernize in there, or we'd need to change that. That's good, because they're still thinking about the property objectionally and also how they may want to change it themselves. Okay. The next bit then is when they come back downstairs and you meet back in one of the rooms, we're trying to do what I call the power of three. Now, again, if you remember, Jenny, we spoke about this, is that you want to get the people into the room that makes the biggest impact them on three occasions. Now, it's normally a reception room, okay, rather than bedrooms, unless you've got a big suite, etc. So it's normally a reception room or a kitchen. It could be the garden, but you want them to be in that space a minimum of 3 times when you're conducting the viewing. So you brought them in, you've done the welcome, you brought them into what you think is your showroom, as in your open place space at the back, or the kitchen. You've explained how you'd like the viewing to take place. So they're going to look round, they're going to go upstairs, then you're going to meet them back in the kitchen. Then you're going to do outside, do the tour there, and then you're going to bring them back in the kitchen. So when they leave, the lasting impression on that property is a positive one, and they're going to remember the room that sort of, ticked all the boxes for them the most. Okay. So that's how I tend to do the viewings, and that's how I tend to advise homeowners to do the same. Set an agenda, let them feel at ease, go out and do the outside, come back in, and then go through questions. Now, viewers will hit you with the obvious. How long have you been here? What work have you done on the property? When was the boiler last serviced? When was the electrics last done? Have you done any alterations? Did you get planning permission? All those sorts of bits and pieces. What's your EPC rating? Because viewers find it quite difficult to strike a conversation with a complete stranger when they're in the home. Okay. So sometimes having those pieces of information written down, even if it's on a little card or you give them some information, that can be quite useful. But it's even little things like, where the stopcock is, how long have you been there, why you bought it. Oh, we remember several years ago when we were looking around at properties and we looked at lots. And the main reason we bought this is because we really like the aspect of the garden. We get loads of sun in it from about 11 o'clock. It's a great property for entertaining. The area and the community is fantastic. The neighbours are great. That's a biggie. Always talk about your neighbours if they're good, because people want to know that. It's a great home for having entertainment. And we've had some really, really happy memories here. And the other big plus is we're only 6 minutes down the road from the school or the local shop. Yeah. Tell them why you bought it. Okay. Tell them about the things you're going to miss about moving. That's another biggie. One of the key things we're going to miss is X, Y, and Z. Okay. People will buy lifestyle. They want what you've got living in that property as well. Okay. So yeah, there's some basics for you. Answer those questions, have them readily available, and then always offer a second viewing. Yeah. So finally, look, we know what it's like when you're viewing properties, because we're out there viewing as well. They all tend to blur into one. But if this is a home that you feel you'd like to come back and have another look round, give the agent a call. You're very welcome to come and have another look round if it's, on one of your lists that you want to come back and have a look at. Just leaves it nice and open, very welcoming again. And also you'll pick up sometimes, sometimes the viewer isn't going to be quite right for it. Sometimes having those honest conversations, or that they can be honest with you, there's nothing worse than a viewer going around a property, putting all the effort in, and you think that they absolutely love it, and then 2 days later you get a phone call from the estate agent and the feedback is really negative. You go, oh, that can't possibly be the person that I showed around, because they were telling me they're practically going to move in next week. So it's just judging it a little bit. But I do appreciate it's sometimes a very awkward and difficult thing for somebody to be showing, somebody around your own home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I come back to that very original conversation about ask for help from your estate agent. Okay, if you're paying them the money and they're paying them the dollar, ask for help on how to do it, or get them to come and do it. Okay, little plug: if you use me, I do the viewings on all of my properties, because I believe that is the way that an estate agent should work. Okay, any questions on that, Paul, Jenny?
All I can say, I think, when I've worked in the estate agents before, you always have that Saturday person that they've employed just for a Saturday to go and do the viewings. They come in on a Saturday morning, they've got a long list of addresses, a bunch of keys, and off they pop. And I think you're absolutely right. They haven't got a clue. They're there to show people round. And it's just the circumstances. I'm not saying that what they're doing is wrong, but you're absolutely right. If you can get a professional in there doing it, and it's uncomfortable when someone comes into your home, because you might feel that they're judging you a little bit, or you might feel that you really want to sell it, or you're in a situation. And there's nothing worse. I've been there when I've done it myself foolishly, and I've been there and done it when you've got the homeowner following you into every single room, and you're a little bit scared of where to go or what to say or anything like that. And it's all just a bit like, yeah, it's a bedroom, I can see that. But really what I want to talk about is that over there, but I don't dare say anything because you're on my shoulder. And I think, most size rooms, if you've got more than 2 or 3 people in there, can look a lot smaller than they actually are, because you're all stood by the door trying to squeeze in. So yeah, it's like you get 2 in there and you're done.
One of us stand in the toilet, one of us stand in the bath. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, I think there's some really, really good points there, Mike, to be fair, in terms of how to bring that across. And I love the fact that you bring them in and say, this is what we're going to do. You set that agenda. It calms them down, like you say. Everyone knows where they're at, and they're not on your shoulder. They've got the freedom to really look at your home, which is great advice.
Spot on. So as I say, if that leads on from any other questions, if you're selling your property and you want some more tips, etc., reach out to me. Usual telephone numbers and contacts and bits and pieces. Very, very happy to help anybody. But say that might have started another couple of questions in your head. So yeah, just let me know if I can help. So Jenny, you're going to talk about the big hot topic then at the moment.
I am. I'm stood today. I don't know if anyone can tell, and I can't stand still. I know. I'm finally in my office after months of building it. I'm finally in, but it feels a bit weird because I really don't know what to do with myself because I'm stood up instead of sat down. But I'm sure I'll get used to it. Yeah. And as always, we've got a little comment. The wife is showing me support here, so hey, wife.
Very good.
There she is. Okay, amazing. So £5,000 deposits. It's a massive topic at the moment. It come out just before bank holiday. They timed this perfectly when everyone goes viewing the houses over bank holidays and during Easter. So the lender got it spot on with their timing. Now, currently, there's only one lender offering this. Okay, so I'm not saying that you can't get other mortgage products with lower deposits, but I'm specifically talking about this product that is the £5,000 deposit. So all you need, she says, is £5,000 to put down on a home. And that can be as low as 1%. So you can buy up to £500,000, or the minimum is £100,000 property. Okay. I guess, some really outline. I'm going to whiz through some sort of key features, and then I'm going to expand a little bit on what is really important where people are tripping up. Okay. First of all, obviously, you need £5,000. Okay. Now that can be a gift. It can be cash. It cannot be a credit card or a personal loan. Okay. So it's a gift or it's cash of your own. It can be what we call a concessionary purchase, that £5,000. So you've got a house, say for 100,000, mum and dad have agreed to sell it to you for 95. That 5,000 that they're gifting you in terms of the property price can be used for your deposit. Okay, so we can get around it that way. So it doesn't have to be hard cash. Okay, so that's the first thing. Maximum term is 40 years. So you cannot have your mortgage term over 40 years. up to an age of 70. So 70 years and 1 day, we can't do it, okay? You have to be under 70 years old when that mortgage will finish. What's the other thing we've got? It has to be a capital and repayment, which is great because it means at the end of the mortgage term, you're going to have a zero balance. So that's really, really good that they're allowing us to do that. And it has to be a house, no new builds and no flats are able to do this scheme. Okay, so it has to be a second-hand house. Okay, so that's a sort of a whistle stop. Now, a lot of things that are tripping people up is first-time buyers. You have to have at least one person that is a first-time buyer. And it's not, well, I haven't owned a property for 5 years and therefore does that make me a first-time buyer? This is a genuine first-time buyer. So you can never have owned a property anywhere in the UK or abroad. The second applicant, because you can have up to two, can have owned a property in the past. So, you know, I spoke to someone earlier today. He had a property, he sold it back in 2018. They've been in rented since, but she's a first-time buyer. They qualify for this mortgage. And you cannot have any other properties on your books, whether that's in a limited company name, whether that's in your sole name, elsewhere on completion. It can be the only property that you will have. And that's another thing that's catching people out. But the biggie, if I'm honest, is the credit file. Okay. Look, this is a high risk product for the lender. So they are not going to allow someone who maybe have had some recent adverse credit take this product. They're just not going to do it. And they have, unfortunately, enhanced what your credit profile needs to be able to secure this. Now, this lender, which is Accord, so they are part of Yorkshire Bank, so a really good building society, does allow small adverse through on their standards range. But cards on the table, I truly believe if you have any form of adverse shown on your credit file currently, whether that is mispayments, CCJs or defaults, they're probably not going to allow to lend to you. But that's not to say it's not worth having a conversation with your mortgage broker with a copy of your credit file, which is key. You know, that is the whole premise. We need your credit file and saying, look, on this, do you think I could achieve it? And we'll just be able to let you know there and then. And if not, we can give you other options. So there's 5% deposit mortgages out there. There's new builds that are offering to pay 5% towards your property purchase. So, you know, you've got £5,000. So you've got 5%, another 5%. Suddenly you've got 10% deposit. You open up the market, even if your credit file isn't the best. So there might be other options. And that's why it's really keen that you speak to a mortgage broker, because they'll be able to tell you what is available to you. The other thing that I'm finding is catching some people out is the sort of the loan to income side of things. So they have restricted it, unfortunately, with this product to 4.49 times your income. Now, where we're at the market in the moment, that is quite a low income multiplier. You will see up to 8 times, but that's just crazy. I would never dream of going there, but sort of 5.5 times your income. But this lender, we are looking at 4.49. So what you can get with this product, you will probably get more with another product. So that's another thing to just consider as well about the affordability side of things. And the last thing, as I say, it's a kind of a whistle-stop tour because it's going to be very tailored to your individual needs, which is why you should seek advice. This is a 5-year deal. So if you plan to move within that 5 years and you're buying a sort of a stepping stone house, yes, you can do that. They'll allow you to port it. But because it is the 5-year deal, you will have early repayment charges if you're not able to port it and your circumstances change. So it is that longer stability. You know, the rate at the moment, I think it's 5.99. So it's not the most sexiest rate on the market. But if it can get you out of the rental trap, because that's what it's there to do, is to get these people that go, I can pay my rent, I can pay my bills, I've still got a standard of living that means I'm not literally just coming home, working and going back to work again. This product is designed for those people that can do all of that. They just don't have that spare cash to be able to put towards a deposit and build it up. So And that comes down to the credit file. And again, so if we're seeing missed payments, CCJs, return direct debits, it's going to make the lender nervous because they're going to feel that you're not managing your finances as you should do. So it will be open to some, but it is going to be, unfortunately, a select few that it will be open to. But there's definitely different options out there for you. So really, there's a lot more to it that I could go through, but that's sort of a whistle-stop tour of the £5,000 deposit. But I would say, Mike, anyone interested, feel free to drop me a DM. It might take me a day to come back to you because they're just huge at the moment and uncontrollably. But please just contact a mortgage broker, ask them about the £5,000 deposit, send them a copy of your credit file, know what income you have, and have a conversation with them to see if it's going to fit you, because it is high risk. A change in the market and you've got a 1% mortgage, suddenly you're in negative equity. And if you're looking to move at the wrong time, or you're looking to remortgage and suddenly you're in that negative equity, you can find yourself in a position that you don't want to be in. So it does come with risk, and that's why you should seek professional advice before taking this product.
Fantastic.
There we go.
Excellent. So, no, really, really helpful there. Thank you for that, Jenny. As I say, I know you've covered a lot in that time. So, like Jenny says, send the message over for more details. Or again, plenty of other sort of options available. There's a lot of products out there. So, talk to somebody. But again, the benefit of watching this show is you've got a fantastic advisor from Jenny that can help you. And the good thing as well, Jenny, is I think we're seeing already in the first sort of 16 weeks or so of this year is lenders are bringing out good products on a regular basis, more than we saw last year. Last year sort of flatlined, and nobody really wanted to be out the traps first by offering products and things because we just didn't know where it was going, and probably there was no point doing it because the market was flat and the economy was. But we are seeing, every sort of week, every 2 weeks, there are some big named lenders now out there bringing out some good products to encourage the market, to help the market. And I think this is a really good one, like you've said there, is that this can really make a massive difference for people who have been in rented, who have been trying to save for a rental property, who can show that they've been paying their bills and are looking to get onto that property ladder. So I think that's a good market. And I think keep an eye on, what's happening with the mortgage market, certainly over the next 3 months, because I think this is going to be a really, really busy quarter in the mortgage and the property market. So we've got some more.
Oh, go on. So I was going to agree with you there. Like HSBC today brought that every single rate of theirs virtually have been decreased. And that kind of gives us an indication of where the market is going. These new deposit mortgages that are coming out, they're all building societies, and no one ever thinks to go to a building society. They think, I must go to the big banks. But the building societies are the one that I think are going to lead the way in getting the renters out of the rental trap and into their own home.
Definitely. So it's all positive stuff. We're in a much better place as we've gone into this year. So hopefully that's helped you. So we've got some nice interaction, plenty of people watching. Again, Angela, thank you for your comment tonight. As I say, if you want to take this outside of obviously the show this evening, again, please make contact with us. If you know that some of these tips will be useful for other people to hear, again, feel free to share it. If you head over to my YouTube channel now, 90% of all of the content are now on there. I think we started this way back at the end of September now, Jenny, and here we are now in April, every single week. So, and we've always still got plenty to talk about. So, head over to, if you just go to Michael Hollenby on the YouTube channel, there's an estate agent page in there. Most of the episodes are in there. That's still being built with all the the content in it, but you've got a point of reference in there. So, right, we're waffling. We're on half an hour. Thanks ever so much, as I say, everybody. Make sure you like it before you all go. We've got a couple of love hearts on there. Do that as your last job tonight. Just hit the like just to say you've enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. We'll be back. There we go. There you go. Look, my mum's commenting as well. Come on, let's put that up and show that one over there. Look, let's make it famous.
Can you
there we go. I've taught you, Mikey. Yes, you have. And so get involved. Make sure you're following us on our social media. Jenny, have a great week as well. We'll look forward to seeing you same place, same time next week in the Lincoln Property and Mortgage Show. Roll the credits.